Hello, first of all, I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to choose what to put in Jude's Mirror. And I think it should be Shooting Stars by Caroline Daffy because it is the 25th anniversary of the Holocaust. But we don't feel any mournful, indignant, or we don't feel the sorrow anymore because it's been a long time. While Caroline Daffy takes her audience 25 years in time, telepathizes the pain, and the anxiety, and leads her audience to witness the death agony of 6 million Jews through the persona, by taking the persona of a Jewish victim in the Holocaust. Indeed, the ultimate goal of her famous poem, Shooting Stars, is to enlighten the audience to the brutality of such intolerable incidences, and how ignorance encourages their recurrence in the future. While she accomplishes to establish this idea through various ways. One of them is by forcing the audience to empathize with the speaker. And to do that, she repeats our in the first stanza, our fingers, our brows, our daughters. R is an inclusive subject pronoun, so she's not only talking for the whole Jewish community, but she's also including the audience. Ultimately wants us to feel for her. And especially in stanza 4, she says, mourn for our daughters. Daughters is part of family. By saying our daughters, we care about family. We should mourn for the Jewish female victims that died as well. And she also uses some extent of apostrophe throughout the poem, especially in line 13. She says, how would you prepare to die on a dark April evening? Direct question to the audience, forcing us to find a solution for her problem by putting us in the lenses of the speaker. And in line 21, she says, sisters, these parts of us do not consider me. She makes this personal connection by the use of you and apostrophe, and she also refers to the audience as sister, so she's making us part of the family. We care about family, therefore we should care about the speaker as well. And then she also effectively delivers the mental and physical pressure created on the victims by the soldiers through the use of imagery. In line 9, she says, my bowels open in a ragged gape of fear. And in line 16, she says, my bare feet felt the earth and urine tickled down my legs. By referring to body parts, she creates this imagery, and we almost feel physically since the reader might have gone through this, she wants us, it's feeling that humans get when they get very, very scared. So ultimately, she's delivering the extent of the fear and mental pressure that the victim is going through. And it's also a sign of weakness, so the humiliation the victim feels is also delivered to the reader. And she also uses caesura to deliver these mental pressures. The speaker uses, in line 6, she says, you waited for the bullet, period fell. And in line 16, I heard the click, not yet a trick, caesura. You still, the caesura translates the erupt and imminent death that could come with the bullet into words, eventually reflecting the mental pressure that the victim is suffering through the imminent pressure. And also, then Daffy demonstrates that ignorance is just another form of brutality by comparing soldiers to audience, especially by creating the parallelism between stanza 4 and 5. In stanza 4, in line 14, she says, young men gossiping and smoking by the graves. She's referring to soldiers as young men. And gossiping and smoking are actions of relaxation. And since they do this next to graves of the victims that they killed, it shows that soldiers don't care. It's a signal of ignorance and, well, lack of care. And In stanza 4, she says, after a man's suffering, someone takes tea on the lawn. After terrible months, a boy washes his uniform. After history lesson, children run to their toys. She refers to another part of the society that is clearly not in concentration camp. And by calling those people not victims, or they're not soldiers, they're people like the audience, someone, a boy, children, just like young men. So like children, young boys are like young men, so she's comparing soldiers to this part of the society, ultimately saying that they are also being ignored by not knowing about this. Terrible months, immense suffering just reminds the reader of the brutal pressure victims went through, which the speaker mentioned in the prior stanzas. But taking tea on the lawn, washing uniform as if clearing the dirt from the day, playing with toys is all indications of relaxation, just like gossiping and smoking for the soldiers. So she's also ultimately delivering the idea that people forget after they went through immense suffering, either that it happened to them or happened to other people way back, but after they just want to relax and they don't care anymore. So it's also some sort of ignorance, and she's making us feel guilty because she talked about how cruel these soldiers were, and then she's comparing us to them. So yeah, and then history talks about guns and shooting. Children learn about tactics to create such cruel incidences like the Holocaust. So perhaps that she's indicating that kids plan to play with their gun toys. So she's saying teach kids about the tactics of war, but we don't teach them about this the suffrage that victims go through. So since tactics are more fascinating to kids, they want to repeat that with their toys, and the speaker's ultimately saying how perhaps that's why people become so ignorant to such incidences. They forget easily, and so eventually encouraging the incidents to happen again. So through all these ways, she's ultimately delivering the idea, the typical idea actually we question a lot in history class, in our history classes. Does history repeat itself? Well, Caroline Duffy actually answers this question in her poem, and she also answers why history repeats itself. And she says that she doesn't want it to happen. Thank you for listening.